Let me issue and control the money of a nation, and I won't care who writes the laws. Meyer Amschel Rothschild, founder of the Rothschild banking dynasty and father of international finance. The money. Either you have it, or you sell your whole life to get it. Money is everywhere. In the chair you're sitting in the cell phone or computer you're using to watch this video, in the tissue you use, and so on. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself where it comes from? Who creates it? How has it been created? And who controls it? These seem like simple questions, but even most economics students and professors wouldn't be able to answer how money is created today. The way our currency has been created is the main reason why you can't afford to buy a house or find a good job. It's the main cause of many problems. That's the main reason there's so much complexity around money. To hide the truth. This video will explain everything to you in simple language. In our current society, we have two types of currency, paper money and electronic money, which is the most widely used today. Electronic money or e-money are the numbers you see on your bank account or the credit or debit cards you use to make purchases. If we think in terms of our everyday use, there doesn't seem to be much difference between the two types of payment. If you want to buy a cup of coffee, it will cost the same whether you pay with cash or a card. The difference between the two seems to be just a matter of preference or convenience. However, if we ask ourselves how money is created, we'll see that there is a big difference. Let's start with paper money. Paper money issued by the central bank in the form of paper notes and currency. This information is written on the note. If anyone else tries to issue the money, they will be arrested for counterfeiting. Many people believe that the central bank is the institution that issues most of our money. But in reality, only 3 to 5% of the total money supply is issued by the central bank. The remaining 95 to 97% is electronic money created by commercial banks. Electronic money is quite complex, so many people think it's just an electronic version of paper money, but that's not how it works. Electronic money is created by commercial banks when they issue new loans. Let's say you go to a bank to take out a loan of $10,000. This loan will rarely be paid back in notes, and when you spend this electronic money, you'll simply transfer it from your account to someone else's account at the bank they use. And in this process, the electronic money is not converted into paper money and then converted back into electronic money. When the bank issues a loan of $1 million, for example, this means that the bank simply creates and adds $1 million to the total money supply circulating in the economy. You might wonder then, where did the bank get $1 million to lend? Could it be that there is an army of grandpas and grandmas who have deposited their entire life savings in the bank, and now the bank is using this money to generate $1 million loan? Of course not. The bank just entered a number in your account balance. Step 1, you sign the loan. Step 2, the bank enters the number from your account balance. 95 to 97% of our money supply is created this way. You might be thinking, how is that possible? The bank can't just type some numbers into my bank account when I take out a loan without the money being taken from somewhere. You might not believe it, but here's a quote from the British Central Bank. Commercial banks create money in the form of bank deposits by making new loans. When the bank provides the loan, for example, to someone who wants to buy a house, it doesn't give the person thousands of paper currency notes. Instead, it credits their bank account with the amount of the mortgage. At that moment, money is created. You may be excited about all these new forms of payment, such as internet banking, credit cards, and mobile payments. But we have to remember that we pay a price for these conveniences. In essence, we've privatized our society's money supply. I'm sure you've heard the saying, money is power. If money is power, then what happens when we give the right to create that power to banks, which are private profit-seeking organizations? I think you're beginning to understand why it's a problem to allow banks to create money. First of all, I need to clarify that I don't hate banks. I'm not saying they're evil and that bankers are horrible, greedy people. The problem is that we have given too much power to the banking sector, allowing them to combine two essential processes in the economy, which are issuing money and lending money. As a result, when banks lend money, they are also issuing money. It's very important that you understand this concept because it has a direct impact on your life. That's why you can't afford to buy a house or find a good job these days. Just like any private company, banks also want to maximize their profits and minimize their risks, which means they have an incentive to lend money to certain sectors, which are less risky. And do you know which sector is less risky for banks? The real estate sector. It's risky for banks to lend money to small businesses because there's a high chance of bankruptcy, but mortgages and real estate loans are guaranteed. If the borrower can't pay, the bank keeps the property to cover its losses. But after all, what is money? Or rather, what does money represent? When you make a purchase on the open market, when you get paid for your time working at a job, how important is money in all these transactions? Well, money is popularly defined as a medium of exchange, an instrument used to facilitate the sale, purchase, or exchange of goods between individuals. In fact, the best way to see money is as an expression of value. The amount of money that society hands over is equivalent to the amount of value that people perceive you are generating in the world. If a mugger points a gun in your direction and takes your money by force, he runs the risk of you revolting and reacting, in which case he either dies or he kills you. This is an inefficient and very risky robbery strategy, but governments have a much more sophisticated way of robbing you. It works like this. Big banks buy government bonds to resell to the central bank at a profit. This is the great magic money machine. The central bank doesn't actually have any real money on its balance sheet. When a big bank sells a bond to the Federal Reserve, it simply gets a, "Thanks, brother, here's your money back at a profit." There's no real money transaction, there's just a new number on the screen. Got it? But governments don't create magic money on their own. The energy essence that the parasite sucks in needs to come from a source of real power, otherwise it wouldn't be able to survive, remember? Money equals value produced. And that's where you come into the equation. Someone has to generate the real value in this story. The rich businessmen and politicians share this easy money while the rest of society suffers. It works like this. Your bank statement shows a balance of $100, but the bank only keeps $3 in custody and the other $97 it lends to Pablo to buy something. In the banking system, you still have $100 in your account, but Pablo now has 97 of magic money in his account. You see, no value has been generated here, but the digits on the screen have increased without linking to anything. There is nothing to support the new numbers created in Pablo's account, only the promise of payment that Pablo had to make. This is the new money created through modern slavery, better known as debit. It's like a machine that transfers money from the poorest to the richest. The whole system is based on trust in governments, but if you no longer have that trust, who do you turn to?